Hi everybody, I'm Jared Jorgensen and you are watching the Hellfire channel. And you may have seen this Foundry burner that I built. It's a forced air Foundry burner and it works fantastic. I melted 12 pounds of bronze in roughly 20 minutes using this burner, and it works fantastic. It's got micro adjustments, the needle valve on the burner, and then the fan adjustment here. Right here. And I've been collecting parts for this for about a year, trying to figure out what I was going to use. If you take a look on the inside, we have, obviously, this is an RC, like a RC jet engine, and it produces quite a bit of air. I've got a power supply to supply it, and then to run the engine itself, I had to have a module type thing to kind of convert the electricity to run this. So it took me a while to collect all those parts. This is just a weed burner that I got on Amazon. So really simple build. You could actually build one like this, but I wanted to make it simpler for the everyday person to build and get parts for. And I think I've come up with that. So we're going to build a burner today on a little pretty close to this, but on some different parts, some different pieces that'll make it easier for you guys to build one. And I want to change out the box too. I like this box, it looks cool. But if you notice, this plastic right here is just a little bit, I don't know, I don't trust this long term. It's just not strong enough. It looks cool, kind of looks tactical, but long term I don't think it's going to be a solution that we can relatively just rely on for long term. Anyway, let's get started and build us a Foundry burner today. I'll show you guys how I did it, and then what parts we're replacing to make this really amazing, cool burner even better, and something that you guys can build at home as well. So let's jump right in and get started. All right, here are the parts that we're going to be utilizing to build this burner. This 30 caliber ammo can, sorry. I got this at Harbor Freight. They are available on Amazon, but they're a little bit more money. So you choose where you want to get that. But this is going to be our platform to build off from. So that'll be our ammo can. I want a little longer cord. You could use the cord that comes on our power supply, but I wanted a little bit longer cord. Just seemed like a good idea to me. This is what's going to replace our RC jet engine and make the whole build just slightly easier. So this is an M18, works on the Milwaukee batteries. We're not going to be using any of that. We're actually going to harvest the motor and part of the housing here, this shroud, to build. So that'll be that. And then to hook up our electrical parts, we're just going to use these lever nuts, these Wago, not sure how you say that. Lever nuts, those will be super easy, so we can change out parts if we need to. This will be our power supply. This is what our power our motor. This is a 24 volt, 3 to 24 volt power supply, and it's really cool because it's got a built-in on-off power, and then a digital display showing us the voltage we're running at, so we can really dial in our fan speed with this. This will be great. Up next is to seal off our container for the wires coming in and out of it are these PG9, and these are actually called cable glands. They make it waterproof, airtight type situation, so those will be critical, and we'll make it look really cool as well. So those are super cheap on Amazon. Here's a electrical conduit connector, a 2-inch that I got from Home Depot. I'm sure Lowe's carries them. Your other box stores that carry electrical parts as well would carry this. And then this is stainless steel 18-inch 2 1/4 ID tailpiece, and these you just buy at your local auto parts stores. Most of them should have this part in stock. So we're gonna have to do the hardest part of the build will be welding this. If you guys don't have a welder, you probably could find a way to connect it not using a welder, but that's what we have, so that's what I'll be using. But you can get creative if you need to connect those two. And the reason why I like this is because it has this nut here that'll allow us to tighten it down on the box once we drill a hole in the front there. So that'll allow us to connect that. And the other cool thing is once this is welded up, And we use this a bunch of times, and this stinger or barrel wears out, so this will corrode on this end, and we'll lose the tip of it, you know, after a while. Even though it's stainless steel, it'll corrode away, and we'll lose it. So this will be a consumable. We'll be able to replace this quite easily. Moving on to the weed burner. This is on Amazon, and we're looking for one that's a straight shot weed burner. I'll leave a description for all of this stuff where I picked them up in that description. So you got your needle valve. We're going to be altering this to fit inside this pipe here, and then we'll drill out the outlet on this as well, so we can get as max propane that we can pump out of it that we want. So, and a high output hose. There you go. So high output hose, so that we can make those fine adjustments for this build. Anyway, let's jump right in and build ourselves a Foundry furnace burner. That is going to be amazing. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is drill some holes. And I've already taken one of these apart, so I've got this back piece here. Also the motor. So anyway, so we're going to need to put a hole in the front here, like so, but part of this has to go away. So we can put our hole here, and the back side we need to put the motor, and I think I'm going to kind of push it up to this top side. So let's go ahead and do that. We got to remove this section here so we have enough room for our fitting. So throw on some safety glasses, and this is a Dremel cutting blade. These things are awesome. Like, I just recently started using them, and they are super awesome. So. That side too. All right, everybody. So I have the fan all taken apart, as you can see. You already seen that, but we need to cut it down, and then we're going to house this inside of the shroud, and that will allow us to screw it down from the outside. So we'll drill holes, mount it to this outside like so. So we'll drill holes, and then it'll mount in there, and then we'll go from there. All right, everybody. So I've taken the needle valve off of this stem here. I've already played with sanding it a little bit. So we need to drill a hole. Correspondence here. I've marked it center of this hole so that we can feed this through. I can go through the center of this. So let's go ahead and do that now. There we go. Okay guys, we need to mount this on, but we need to figure out where we're putting the cords. One there maybe, one up here, and then one back here I think, so I think that'll work. So let's drill the holes. Let's mark that. Actually, I think that'll be good right there. So we'll say there, and there, and then I think we'll do one right here. So we'll have that one there, one here, and then the plug coming out the back here. So let's drill those holes, take the sticker off, mount this on with some sticky tape just in case we want to move it later. Yeah, hot metal. Cool. Okay. Peel the sticker off under. Looks like it's peeling off okay. 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 Maybe. I've put sticky tape on the back of this power supply. I think that'll be enough to hold it. We're going to use this as a shim to give a little bit of room between those two. So go ahead and stick this on. And then we'll go ahead and wire everything up. Let's go ahead and wire it up. Ah, oh, come on. What kind of color are you guys giving me here? It's funny, there's no ground in this. There's a ground on it, but there's no actual ground. All right, so here's how, when we have colors like this, we find which one's neutral and which one's hot, so we'll plug it in without touching anything. And then we'll take our tester. That's neutral, that's hot. Okay, we can test it now. Plug it in and cross our fingers and hope it works. Let's turn that off. All right, here we go. Nervousness. Okay, so should power on here. There it is. And if we put the lid on, feel it coming out here. All right, our next step is to get this piece inside this piece. Okay, we're gonna drill 30 seconds, I believe. That goes back on there. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we gotta clean up this, take the sticker off, we'll take these off, and gotta grind some of this coating off, the zinc coating here, and then we'll weld this up. All assembled, let's see what this thing can do. First fire. This is 23 pounds of scrap brass that I've assembled. Let's go ahead and melt it up. This amount of brass that you're seeing in the crucible here, we were able to melt within 10 minutes of cold fire from the initial startup here. This is a coyote skull that I'm pouring with brass here, and it's going to be in a future video, so keep an eye out for that video. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you watching to the end of the video. Subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and if you're going to build one of these, let me know if you're going to build it, and if anything you'd change, let us know also. Have a great day.